Hey, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You are listening to the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Hope you're having a good Thursday, the 4th of October, 2012. Lots of things going on. Did you catch the debates? No, there was a debate. Okay. Did you see that? My girlfriend and I watched the video online, and I got to tell you, I'm going to tell you, charismatically, informationally, see, Romney has the charisma to stand on his own. With the information behind it, I got to tell you, he handed Obama his ass on a plate. I'm serious. Now, let me say this: Obama had some good points too. Don't disregard that. He had some excellent points. But here's the thing: do some do some fact checking. Okay, Romney mentioned one thing that stuck out to me in the debate. I mean, he mentioned a lot of stuff about Obamacare and what he did, what Romney did when he was talking, what he said he did in Massachusetts with healthcare. But the one thing that stuck out to me, because I'm big on education, it's huge. I'm big on education. I want people to be educated. I'm not only high school educated, I'm college educated, or let's just say I am educated and very well educated. And I see things happening in front of me, and I'm going, what? And then I go check it out. The one thing that stuck out in the debate for me, I mean, it was great. It was fantastic, I have to admit. But the one thing that Romney said was he talked about Obama's $90 billion that he used to do something, bail or the green jobs. Okay, bailed out. I mean, invested in all these green companies, half of them going bankrupt, that kind of thing. And he said $90 billion. He said, and Romney said, that would hire 2 million teachers. I'm all for education. We need more teachers, but we need all the bad ones out. I crunched the numbers. $90 billion divided among 2 million teachers. That's $45,000 a year. Okay? Or $45,000 per teacher. Now, I do have to agree with Romney that education should be left to the states, as well as healthcare should be left to the states. I agree with President Obama when he said that he wanted schools and education and tuition in junior colleges to be low enough to where the kids could come and learn and create a better future with innovation and technology. He didn't say that, but that was the gist of what he was saying. And of course, the things that I know, of course, is the fact that when you have low cost, in other words, not $30,000 a semester, make it $10,000 a semester, you might get more kids in there. I agree with lowering all tuition costs. Let's make it a flat rate. Screw that. Not per credit. Let's just make it a flat rate. Okay? Why not? That's my idea. But I also think that Romney was wrong on several issues. I don't specifically know what they were right now. I don't remember too much of the debate that we finished watching this morning. But there were a lot of things that I listened to, Governor Romney, and I'm thinking, this guy is totally missing the boat on this one, okay? Considering the fact that he hates his home state of Michigan. From what I get from my co-host of the unnamed show, Laura Clemens, said that he hates his home state. He wanted Michigan to fail, to just collapse. I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the facts are behind that. But I do know that he wanted the car companies just to go under. Why? How can you rebuild in a better way a company if you don't collapse it first? You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So I don't agree with that. All right, I don't agree on some things. And hey, there's some things that Obama said that I don't agree with. But they both made their points. They both made very good points. I agree with Romney that taxes have to be low so companies can hire, so that more people can go to work and more people can pay taxes at the current rate. I agree with that. Do you want your taxes raised? I don't think so. So I agree with that. Now, here's my rebuttal to both of them. All of what they said is really, really good on paper and in theory. Okay? And I'll tell you why. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that the president has no power whatsoever. I have not yet, and correct me if I'm wrong, send your email to libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com, libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. Correct me if I'm wrong, I have not heard of or seen any president go to Congress and introduce a bill. I've never seen that. I've seen their representative come out of the office and go to Congress and fight for a bill and blah, blah, blah. I've never seen a president go straight into Congress, go up to the podium, and introduce a bill. You know what I mean? I've not seen that yet. The Speaker of the House would say, recognize, the representative from Kansas or something like that. I've never seen the president walk into the Congress and go up to the podium and introduce a bill. That may have happened 100 years ago, but it doesn't. I haven't seen it happen now. So, to me, was the debate one side or the other? As I opened up the show, I saw Romney hand Obama his ass on a silver platter and say, dude, you need to get your facts straight. But I also said that Obama made some very good points. Again, we have to check the facts. Okay, go do some fact checking and we can find, what is going on. Okay, who's telling the truth, who's not telling the truth, whatever. So, this is the views expressed, and the phone is ringing. This is the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. We shall return right after this.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host, Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to eastlandradiofilms@usa.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/eastlandfilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to eastlandradiofilms@usa.com. It's New York, February 6, 1964. The Beatles are making their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in one more day. The Plaza Hotel is crazy with the preparations. Alex Frazier, a desk clerk, has secretly let his brother Freddie use the penthouse suite for the evening so he can wine and dine the girl of his dreams. What Alex and Freddie don't know is the Secret Service are using the same room to hide spy novelist Henry Lade. His most recent novel has attracted the attention of the Soviets and East Germans. The communist countries believe Lade may have secretly discovered their plot to bomb Fresno. Assassins are dispatched to kidnap or kill Lade, whichever is easiest. What Agent John Parker and Henry Lade don't know is the Beatles are staying in the same room for their first appearance on American television. Let's Get Laid by Thomas Amo, available on the Kindle at Amazon.com. From family to friends in everyday life, he sees it for what it is. He'll tell you his views on family, politics, and what's in the news. From the world around him, he discusses many issues. Come listen to The Brian Keller Show right here on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Whatever the subject you can think of, we talk about it. Come join Diana and Wayne as we discuss whatever it is that is happening in our lives.
Come and listen to Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Check it out on Spreaker.com.
This is the Views Expressed right here for the 4th of October 2012. How y'all doing? Took an extended break there. I was on the phone rang, as you could tell. And, yeah, very interesting. Let's just say the phone call, I'm not going to tell you specifically what it was about, but I can tell you this. If anyone is in your house uninvited and they're taking your stuff, you make sure you stop them any way necessary. By any means necessary, those people are going to stop quickly. Okay? Just letting you know. Now, I want to direct your attention to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Yes, go check that out. I put up some stuff today, and I wanted to talk about it. Couple of things. California gas stations begin to shut on record high spot prices. Gasoline is going up. This is from Bloomberg.com. Click on the link. California gas stations shut as oil refineries ration supplies. This is written by Lynn Doan and Joshua Falk, F-A-L-K. Over at Bloomberg, thank you. Gasoline station owners in Los Angeles area, including Costco Wholesale Corporation, are beginning to shut pumps as the state's oil refiners started rationing supplies and spot prices surged to a record. Valero Energy Group stopped selling gasoline on the spot or wholesale market in Southern California and is allocating deliveries to customers. ExxonMobil Corporation is also rationing fuel to U.S. West Coast terminal customers. Costco's outlet in Simi Valley, 40 miles northwest of Los Angeles, ran out of regular gasoline yesterday and was selling premium fuel at the price of regular. The gasoline shortage, quote-unquote, feels like a hurricane to me, but it's the West Coast, said Jeff Cole, Costco's vice president of gasoline, said by telephone yesterday. Quote, we're obviously extremely disheartened that we are unable to do this, and we're pulling fuel from all corners of California to fix this, unquote. Spot gasoline in Los Angeles has surged $1 a gallon this week to a record $1.45 a gallon premium versus gasoline futures traded on the New York Mercantile Exchange, data compiled by Bloomberg show. That's the highest level for the fuel since at least November 2007, when Bloomberg began publishing prices there. On an outright basis, the fuel has jumped to $4.39 a gallon. Gasoline at the pump gained 8.3 cents to $4.31 a gallon in California yesterday, according to AAA, 53.1 cents more than the national average of $3.78 And in Los Angeles, the price was $4.34. Gasoline futures for November delivery on NYMEX rose 14.34 cents to settle at $2.94 a gallon after falling yesterday to a 10-week low. Retail price movements tend to lag behind those of the futures. You can go click on that link on Liberty and Freedom Network. California gas stations begin to shut on record high spots. Let me tell you something, and I'll be very, very honest. They're betting on futures. What does that mean? Speculation. Your price that you pay at the pump is going to be determined by people's bet on the speculative market of fuel, where it's going, where it's at, where it's going, where it's going to be in 5 years. That's what they do, and that's why gas prices are so high. The fact of the matter is that analysts have said that it's a no-brainer. By the end of the year, gas is going to be over $5 a gallon, at least close to $5 a gallon in some areas. Considering Southern California, considering big places such as Chicago and New York and Dallas, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area, maybe Miami, Florida, Seattle, Washington, gas is going to be either close to or above $5 a gallon. Pastor Lindsey Williams at prophecyclub.com talks to his elite friend all the time and literally says that the elites who control the gas, who do all that, are saying that they cannot bring, their system, they cannot do what they do until a barrel of oil gets to $150 a barrel of oil. But here's the thing now. Check this out. I've seen this other places as well. I've heard other commentaries say the same thing. It's going to go up. Speculation says that a barrel of oil will be, by next April or by next year, $150 a barrel. What does that mean to you at the pump? Well, prices go up. Now get this. Rationing of fuel will cause the price to go up. Why? Because more supply rationed at the pumps in certain critical areas will, again, no-brainer, cause the barrel of oil to increase. So are the elites implementing or having this moment of self-fulfilling prophecy because, this is what they want to use to subjugate the rest of the people of the world to their way of doing things? It's just a question. Again, speculation is causing this rationing. Speculation is causing the prices of the pumps to go up. Speculation is doing great harm to the economy of this nation. We cannot bet on the future. We cannot use our money, out of our pockets or whatever, to bet on speculative notions that could mean a disaster down the line. We just can't do it. You know how people say boycott. Boycott companies, do this, do that, whatever. Vote with your dollars. You've heard that phrase, right? I say, vote with your voice and vote with your dollars. And when I say vote, I'm using that as a very, loose term. You can call each one of these companies, Valero, Exxon, Arco, whatever, and you can call them and say, I am not going to buy your product until you bring it down to what I can afford. And don't go there. Don't go to that particular one. Now, of course, you can't get away with, you can't get away from paying over $4 a gallon for gas in some areas. Today we were out and we saw, it was either an Exxon or some other big name petroleum company, a price of regular gas in this one particular gas station was $4.11 a gallon. The premium gas at that particular station was $4.29 a gallon. If you go elsewhere in the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada, you'll find it under $4 a gallon in some places. Go to that place. You know, call these managers at these convenience stores or, these big names like Arco or Exxon or whatever, and you say, look, I'm not coming to your place to buy gas. You're too expensive. Lower it. And then I'll come back. Go someplace else. Hey, you might be saving 20 cents, maybe 25 cents elsewhere. But hey, that adds up. 4 gallons. Hello, you just saved yourself $1. But you do what you need to do to be able to get along, be able to get to work. I don't know. Earlier, before the extended break, I talked about the debates. One thing I didn't see on this debate with Romney and Obama was gas prices. Obama talked about, being energy independent. He did talk about having coal, or Romney talked about coal. Obama talked about wind and solar and all of that. But I didn't hear either one of them talk about the fuel at the pump. I didn't. Okay. I didn't. And it kind of, I don't know. It kind of makes me think, do they really care about what we pay at the pump? Because obviously, the people that are supporting their campaigns have, given them money for their campaigns. I'm sure that some of them are petroleum companies. But it doesn't matter who we vote for because they're both bought off by Goldman Sachs. They're both bought off by Goldman Sachs. Okay? They're both bought and paid for. One's a businessman. They're both puppets. One's a businessman. Another one is a community organizer. What's a community organizer do? What did he do? What did Obama do in the Illinois State Senate? Look at his record. Look at Romney's record. Okay? One thing that I found to be quite an eye-opener was the fact that in the debate, I noticed, who knows body language out there? Who can read body language? I'm terrible at it, but something stuck out with me, and I'll talk about that after the bottom of the hour break. Something stuck out, and I don't know, man. It just stuck out. I'll talk about that here in a minute. Romney's body language. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 4th of October, 2012. You're listening to the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Are you looking for an alternative to your normal everyday radio? Well, check out KTRNradio.com. Jay Towers and Brian Keller bring you everything that you ever wanted to know. And even if you didn't want to know it, go check out That Radio Show with your host, Jay Towers and That The K Show with your host Brian Keller on KTRNradio.com. What's the word on the street? There's only one place you can get that question answered. Mobster Boss Radio. How do you deal with people? Your questions and more will be answered on Mobster Boss Radio. Come join JD and Sonny and Lester on Mobster Boss Radio and find out what they think about the world around them. Go to www.mobsterbossradio.com.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Do you wear your sunglasses at night? Well, maybe you do some other crazy things too. Why not add The Sandy Fox Show to your list? You can find me on Spreaker.com, Icecast.org, and TuneIn.com. Fox out.
I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you weave and breathe your storylines.
You're listening to The Views Expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. This is The Views Expressed for the 4th of October 2012. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Broadcasting live on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting on Spreaker.com from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Yes. What can I say, folks? The world is getting crazier out there. The things that you see are not always what they seem to be. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Check things out. There are, and I want to stress this, there are people out there that would listen to me and say, well, you know, you're sensationalizing all of this, blah, 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 blah. You're sensationalizing it, blah, 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 blah. Nothing's happening, blah, 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 blah. Then you have the other types of people saying, oh, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Things are going to get better. Put your life in the hands of the Lord. Yeah, true. But let me tell you something. I'm just going to bottom line it for you because I got another article to read to you, or part of it anyway. We're the ones with the brains. We're the ones that know, they can see and understand what's going on, and we're the ones that make decisions to take care of the situation. And you have to be aware of what's going on. You have to be aware of what's out there. Because if you're not, how are you going to understand it? How are you going to understand it to the point of making the right decision that you believe is best for you? So when I got people telling me, oh, you're a sensationalist, blah, blah, blah. Or, you know, oh, yeah, just leave it to the Lord, whatever. I always tell my Christian friends, while you're on your knees praying, crap's happening outside your door. And when they kick down the door and you're still on your knees praying, you're a great target for a, gangland assassination, okay? I mean, get up off your damn knees and go out and protect yourself and your family and your friends. Okay? This is something that a lot of people don't understand. Going over to Spreaker.com, we see the one and only Paranormal Phil in the chat room. He says that he saw my ad or my thing over at radioguestlist.com. Go check it out. As a matter of fact, I got 2 requests for people to be on my show, so that was kind of cool. I'm going to go email them back after the show and see when we can set something up. But my point is this. We have to knock off the bull crap, and we have to get up off our knees. We have to brush ourselves off. We have to stop feeling sorry for ourselves. We have to focus our attention on what is going on around us, become aware of what is going on around us, focus on it, understand it, and find ways to defend ourselves, our families, from what is coming. And if there are people out there that do not understand that or are too nitpicky and say, well, you're one of those conspiracy theorists. No, I'm not. I'm opening the curtains of your darkened room where you sit there with your remote and your beer watching your stupid ESPN, and I'm showing you what the world is. Outside of your confined little space, your little cookie cutter of your world. And if you tell me to go away, I'm not. I'm going to drag your ass out of that chair, take you outside, and show you what's going on. And if you don't like it, yeah, you should not have invited me into your home. It's like this show. I tell, I sent an email to JD and to Chris Top and a few other people over there at Spreaker, and I told them, hey, if people always argue. They always say, well, I don't like the show. You're too political about my show. I don't listen to it because I don't like all that political stuff. I want to have a good day. You'll have a better day if you stand up and defend your rights. That's just the way it is. You have to, okay? You have to. Are you human? Have you looked in the mirror? Are you a human being? Okay, then. You have an obligation to stand up and defend your rights. You're not a wimp, okay? I'm not saying, grab your sword or your gun or whatever and go out and wreak havoc. I'm just saying that if somebody comes to you and tells you that you don't have rights to do this, you don't have rights to do that, you stand there, you grab them by the collar if you can, and you look at them in the eyes and say, pardon me, there's a Constitution in the Bill of Rights that protects my God-given right to be who I am. And you have no right to tell me that I don't have any rights. You don't really have to grab them by the collar, okay? Don't be violent. Just politely but firmly reassure them that they're full of crap. All right? Speaking of which, going over to Secrets of the Fed, click on the link on Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. Why you should be outraged about the ruling to keep the NDAA indefinite detention clause in effect. Isn't that lovely? Is that not lovely? That is so lovely. President Obama signed it December 31st, 2011. Behind closed doors, much like President Woodrow Wilson did with the IRS Act and the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. On Tuesday, a federal appeals court ruled the government can indefinitely detain anyone, at least until the courts decide whether a permanently block or confirm the indefinite detention clause, i.e., subsection 1021 of the 2012 National Defense Authorization Act. That the NDAA is fully enforceable right now is scary enough, but the details of the ruling are truly bothersome to those that have been following the rulings in the case. Let me just interject something here. You better, if you have not already, go to startpage.com, put in NDAA 2012 PDF and read highlighted portions, or just, scan over. It's a big one. Just scan over it, look at it. Look at not only subsection 1021, 1022, but look at all of them that pertain to martial law. You can also go to several other executive orders. I think it's 545 or something like that. Matter of fact, go to startpage.com, put in Presidential Executive Orders 2012 or 2008, 2009 to 2012. And you'll see, probably, and look in the PDF too. You'll see which ones he's signed. That the NDAA is fully enforced right now is scary enough, but the details of the ruling are truly bothersome to those that have been following the rulings in the case. First, a recap. Why subsection 1021 was ruled unconstitutional and how the government reacted. Journalists and activists sued to stop the provision, which allowed the government to indefinitely detain anyone who provides quote-unquote substantial support to the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and or quote-unquote associated forces, including, quote, any person who has committed a belligerent act, unquote, in the aid of enemy forces. Go look under the MIAC report or any number of those types of reports. Continuing, in May, District Judge Catherine Forrest sided with the plaintiffs and ordered a temporary block on the grounds that the provisions are so vague they are unconstitutional under the first, i.e. free speech press, and fifth, i.e. due process amendments. The government then argued that it, quote, construes the reach of the injunction to apply only to the plaintiffs before the court, unquote. So Forrest clarified her decision in June to, quote, leave no doubt, unquote, that the U.S. citizens cannot be indefinitely detained without due process. Last month, Forrest ordered a permanent injunction on the clause. The government appealed, and the appeals court Judge Raymond Lohr, Lohier, reinstated the indefinite detention provisions pending a decision by today's panel. This was posted, by the way, by Warriors Mindset up at secretsofthefed.com, posted today. Continuing. On Tuesday, Judge Lord, Denny Chin, and Christopher Droney agreed with a government motion of appeal that the plaintiffs, quote, are in no danger whatsoever of ever being captured and detained by the U.S. military, unquote. Then cited the text of the NDAA to rule that, quote, the statute does not affect the existing rights of the United States citizens or other individuals arrested in the United States, unquote. So, according to the government's new argument, they would never indefinitely detain the plaintiffs or any U.S. citizen in the first place, and the judges took them at their word. Furthermore, the appeals court judges ruled that Forrest's injunction went beyond the NDAA and limited, quote, the government's authority under the authorization of use of military force, unquote. Go look that up. Authorization for use of military force, or AUMF. But, continuing, Judge Forrest was careful to protect the AUMF. Previously, the government argued that the NDAA adds nothing new to the AUMF, which was a resolution passed a week after 9/11 that gives the president authority, quote, to use all necessary and appropriate force against those who aided the terrorist attacks that occurred on September 11, 2001, or harbored such organizations or persons, unquote. Read more. So let's click on that link and we shall go there. Well, that's not where I want to go. So, let's go click on the link. Continuing over at businessinsider.com, because that's where the link takes you. The NDAA actually does add language to the AUMF stating that, quote, the president also has the authority to detain persons who were part of or substantially supported Taliban or Al-Qaeda forces or associated forces that are engaged in hostilities against the United States or its coalition partners, including any person who has committed a belligerent act or has directly supported hostilities in the aid of such enemy forces, unquote. Can you define belligerent act? Continuing, what Judge Forrest did was rule the extra part unconstitutionally vague while allowing section of the NDAA that authorizes the government to indefinitely detain, quote, those who planned, authorized, committed, or aided in the actual 9/11 attacks, unquote. In short, on Tuesday, the appeals court judge, or the appeals court judges, there was more than one, took the government at its word while ignoring the fact that the NDAA's vague language creates detainment powers that are near boundless. The appeals court essentially ignored both the entire argument of the plaintiffs and Forrest's subsequent ruling that the fears subsection 1021 could impact First Amendment rights are, quote, chilling, unquote, quote-unquote, reasonable and quote-unquote, real. Forrest provided the government the opportunity to define which actions and associations would lead to indefinite detention, thereby limiting the scope of indefinite detention powers, but the government chose not to do so. She called them on the carpet, basically, and they went, get out of here. Continuing, Forrest noted that there is a, quote, strong public interest in ensuring that due process rights guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment are protected by ensuring the ordinary citizens are able to understand the scope of conduct that could subject them to indefinite military detention, unquote. And right now, we have no clue what we could be locked up for. As a kicker, The 3-judge panel said Forrest restricted the AUMF when she made sure not to. That's a complete and utter lie. Why would a judge restrict something protecting the people? That just doesn't make any sense at all. Okay? Click on the link at Liberty and Freedom Network. That'll take you to both those sites. Now, I want to direct your attention to a couple of things. First of all, the NDAA. Basically what it is, along with other documents that have come out of Washington, D.C., and, of course, whistleblowers as well. The NDAA and other subsequent, policies, I'm going to call those policies, are basically against people. Okay? They're against people. They're against you and I. Why would they not? Why would the government, why would Washington, D.C. want all of us to be detained indefinitely? Let me take you back in history. Let me take you back to the point where camps were being set up and prisoners were told that they had to work. The German army took these prisoners out to do their task and treated them like crap. If several of them dropped over dead, they'd go back to the camp, pick up a couple more. This is why they want you indefinitely detained. If you look at several of your prisons in your states and you do the research, you will find, especially here in California, our neighbor to the west of us here, you will find that most of them are owned by private companies. And those private companies go to other manufacturers and use prison labor, to do the jobs. Cutting out totally the middleman in terms of, increasing unemployment for those that are working. Go check that out. Paranormal Phil, I'm going to change here a little bit, go down a different road. Paranormal Phil in the Spreaker chat took a picture and sent it to me. And it was a Black Hawk helicopter over an airport. I don't know, because I'm not in Southern California. But I can tell you that at some point, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes military helicopters do land, or military, aircraft land at the local airport. Not all the time. Hey, they got to fuel up somewhere, right? It does look suspicious, though, when 1 or 2 or 3 of those Black Hawk helicopters are leaving your airport. Okay? I know that I found out that the airport, we're like a mile away from the airport, and for several days I kept seeing C-141 cargo, planes come in, and other jets and military hardware and stuff like that, And so I finally emailed the airport. I said, hey, I'm kind of concerned. Can you clear up a few things? And they said, yeah, sure. Basically, the gist is that our Reno International Airport is the National Guard base. And in the email, they said that since down in San Diego, they've closed or limited something down there, that I don't think it's the Top Gun Center in California anymore. They now have to fly over here and fuel up. And, of course, the Fallon Naval Air Station is like an hour away or 37 minutes away, whatever it is. And that's what it is now. Now, if there are, I'm going to say this to my listeners, and I should start saying this every day. If you see things that are out of place, such as, and Phil, you might want to keep your eyes open for this too, Federal Protective Services, Homeland Security Police in your neighborhoods or in your streets or in your downtown areas, take pictures of them. It is not against the law to take a picture of your law enforcement officer. They'll tell you it is. It is not. What is that? Reasonable expectation of privacy? Hey, they got their dash cam on me. I'm going to have a camera on them. They don't like it. They can pull those dash cams out of their cars. But that doesn't stop me. I'm still going to take a picture of them. They don't like being held accountable. So if you can, without being noticed too much, take pictures everywhere of everything that is outside the norm. Even if you have signs that say, free speech zone, even if you have signs that say, Department of Homeland Security, whatever. If it's out of the norm, take a picture of it. You got a cell phone? My email address here is libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. libertyandfreedomnetwork@usa.com. I can almost bet you've got some types of signs there in certain locations that say free speech zone. Okay? I'm sure that if you called your local housing authority and asked them for the rules, I'm sure they'll give them. Just say, hey, I'm disabled and I'd like to, see what the rules are for your place. That kind of thing. Be a little cunning, you know what I mean? And then get the rules and find out what they are and go from there. And find out if the housing authority, like ours here, is violating any of your constitutionally protected rights. Chances are, at least 9 times out of 10, they are. And they're being very fascist and dictatorial about what can and cannot be allowed in the housing authority in that area. Okay? This is the views expressed on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Do you want liberty-minded radio? There's no other straightforward radio you will ever hear than The Angel Clark Show. Join Angel Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at www.radiofreedom.us. That's The Angel Clark Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern at radiofreedom.us. Listen to The Sandy Fox Show, playing a variety of music including rock, pop, and country. The Sandy Fox Show is a production of the Force Radio Network. You can find her and all of the great FRN shows on Spreaker.com, icedcast.org, and by searching for Force Internet Radio on TuneIn.com. You can also find great mobile apps on TuneIn.com to take the live shows and replays with you. The Force Radio Network, real radio for real people. If you want more entertainment value than your dollar can buy you at the movies, listen to the Chris Top Program on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Come listen to Journey into Light with your host Michael Long. The show is about looking into the afterlife. Where do our souls go from here? What are the true messages from above? Everybody is family, so make a journey into light with Michael Long your home. With the best guests on the show, they share the love with all who call in and those who are in the chat room. That's Journey into Light with Michael Long, Sunday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, on blogtalkradio.com/Journey into the Light. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/EastlandFilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. As if the views expressed, you are in the right place. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. This is the 4th of October, 2012. You are listening to the Liberty and Freedom Network. We're broadcasting live on Spreaker.com from the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. Hope you're all having a good day. Hope you're all having an excellent day. Hope your day is going to go well because guess what? Tomorrow is Friday. Yeah, get that. Get that. It's already the end of the week. Can you believe it? Wow. Seriously. Seriously. Wow. Now, in the last hour, I talked about the debate between Governor Romney and President Obama. Somebody put on my page, and you'll probably see it if you go there as well, and someone locally here near us wrote this. And she writes, let's see now, if I adjust my business to government quote-unquote tax breaks for businesses, here's what I get. Here's what I'd get. The base price is $150. I raise taxes or the price to $250. Now, I apply a quote-unquote tax break of $50. Therefore, I've raised my base price to $200, and the tax break is just a warm and fuzzy for those who drink the Kool-Aid. My customers lose. That is so true. It's absolutely 100% true. It's like you go to a store, you've been to the store many, many times, and you know that they, once in a great while, have sales. Let's say it's a furniture store. And let's say you go there and you just go there maybe once or, twice a month and you're in the mood to, buy a new chair. So you've gone there a couple times and you see that the sale is there and that the chair is, at that point was on sale. But then you go back and it's at the regular price. Then the store owner or manager says, that furniture in that area, including that chair that you want, is going to go on sale. Oh, really? Cool. So you wait a week, you come back, you buy that chair at the discount sale price. But here's a little something. The chair was never on sale. Here's why. Because what they did is they said, oh, it's a sale. But they took and looked at the national average or a regional average of what that particular model of chair would cost retail. Okay? They said, okay, this, and they jacked it up. I'm not retail, wholesale, excuse me. They looked at the regional wholesale price of that particular chair and they said, okay, at manufactured suggested retail price is X and my taxes are going to go up. I have to raise that manufactured suggested retail price. But then when they do the sale, it's not really on sale because when you look around, you'll find you got screwed. Okay, pretty much. So there's no tax breaks. Here's what I propose to all state governors and regional managers, the FEMA regions, they have managers. And to the President and Vice President of the United States and Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan. 2 words, flat tax. I don't give a crap if you make $1,000 a month, which is really, 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 really low, really poor, low income, poor people. I don't care if you make $1,000 a month. I don't care if you're working minimum wage and not even hauling in that much a month. Maybe what, 1,100? If that? Because you're working part-time? I don't care if you're making $1 billion a year. Flat tax across the board. Period. End of sentence. Now, some people would say, well, how is that going to work? How's that going to work? You have a government that has to support the military. They have to support social programs. And this is where the debate got a little, to me, I thought, wow. Romney said, take the departments and the organizations in the government that aren't doing a whole lot and that are just wasting money and get rid of them. Flat tax across the board would solve that problem immediately. Okay? Because then all these organizations and departments in the federal government would go away. I don't like having to do work twice. I'm kind of like you guys. I don't like having to do the work that I did once again. You know what I mean? I've already done it. It should be done. It should be, well, we need you to. No, it's okay. I hate it. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of money. So why do we need, governors, listen up, why do we need departments in your state that do double the work? In other words, a Department of Housing and Urban Development with another department similar to it, but not quite, but they do something totally different, but they all answer to the same person who runs both departments. Why not just get rid of one and make it simple? Why not? You know what I mean? Oh, that's too easy. That's too smart. That saves money. Yeah, it does. Okay? That's just the way it is. Flat tax across the board solves all those problems. Another issue with the flat tax across the board, it's this. You won't have the money to be able to support the federal government. Well, no, duh. Hello? Why do our congressmen and women have to be in Congress every day? Why can't they be part-time? Why can't they go there 3 days a week instead of 5? Sometimes they're there 7 days a week filibustering over what? Just because? No. Here's how you're going to run the federal government. From top down, president, vice president, speaker of the House, and all that. Okay, here's what you're going to do. First of all, it's real simple. And let's take Mitt Romney as an example. He makes billions of dollars. He's got money up the wazoo. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need to pay, that the president makes. How about just taking that pay and sending it to a charity somewhere? Okay? Not one he runs, not one he knows. Just say, well, okay, we'll send it to the Cancer Society or something like that. Let's find why people are getting cancer, not try to find a cure. Let's find the reason why. Okay? I don't think from the top down in government we need any of our politicians getting paid any more than the average teacher in our education system. And I say average, I'm just going across the board and saying what is the median income per year for, let's just say, a teacher who teaches 8th grade to 12th grade. Okay? 50, 60,000 a year. Is that about kosher on that one? Across the board. Flat tax, across the board. Boom, get it done. Top-down government. If they are our servants, okay, we shouldn't have to pay them. But we do because there's a little something that Congress came up with many years ago to say, hey, we need to get paid for this. So, If I were president, I would step up in Congress on C-SPAN, look straight in the camera and say, members of Congress, you got two choices. You came here because the people wanted you here. They voted me into office because they wanted me here to keep an eye on you. You will no longer do whatever you want. And I am going to sign an executive order that says you are limited in the power that you have. When you come into Congress, you could tell me, you could tell the Speaker of the House, you can do all the things that Congress needs to do, but you will do it by constitutional law. Period. And if you ask for money for the state, you better have a reason. Not just, well, our kids need an after-school project, a room, whatever. We need some after-school things to do, and we need to fund. No. That's state level. That's county level. They can do that on their own. You, from your district in your state, need to tell your county governance board that you're no longer going to just spend money hand over fist on projects that don't mean a damn thing. That's what I would tell the congressman if I were president. The other thing I would tell him is this. You're going to do exactly what the people tell you to do, because I'm here representing the people on their behalf. I am watching you every step of the way. And if you don't like what I'm telling you, I will accept your resignation in less than 48 hours on my desk. What we need, that's what I would do if I was president. What we need, and there's a lot of things I would do. We need a president that would tell the other countries that owe money to us, I'm in this office for 4 years. You better have us paid in full by the time I run for a second term. That's just the way it is. Okay? People, I want to pull my hair, I want to pull out what hair I have left. Because I'm hearing people, look what happened in, was it Toledo, Ohio? Obama phones. Remember that? Look at who, on average, wants free stuff. Wants the government to give them stuff. Okay? Just look on average. Just look at it. Look at the demographics. Look at all of that. You will not be surprised. I know I wasn't when I heard that. But I have to admit that if you work your tail off for many, many years and you paid into the system and you get that thing from Social Security every year that says, well, if you went out today, if you got on Social Security disability today, this is how much you would make. If you retire today, this is how. You get that every year from Social Security. If you don't expect it, it will come. When you pay into the system, you expect to get something from it, do you not? Medicare, Medicaid, retirement, that kind of thing, right? If you're sick or, you got to file for Social Security disability or whatever, you expect it because you paid into it, right? So why the hell are people coming here illegally getting all that stuff for free? This is what I want to pull my hair out on. Okay? It sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger there for a minute. I'll be back. Here's what I would do if I were president. I would get all the governors. There's only, 50 of them? Or 51 if you count Puerto Rico. I'd get them all in Washington, D.C. in Congress. I would have all the, whoever can fit into that room, I would have all the congressmen there. And I would look at the governors. I would look at the governors and say, dude, I'm your boss, regardless of whether or not you think I'm not, because I'm the president of the United States. So if you don't do right by the people, yeah, you and I are going to have to talk. Now, I know that doesn't fare well with some people, but look in history. Check out history. Check out history. The leaders held their people in their cabinets under them accountable for what they did against the people. Sometimes, in the case of Mussolini, the people would hold their leaders accountable. And in the case of Mussolini, strung them up. You know? Look what happened with the Bolshevik Revolution. Need I say more? This country has gotten to the point now where we cannot, you and I, taxpayers, we do what we can. We work our tails off for what we want. We can no longer sustain our lifestyle as we have become accustomed to, because we have a $16-17 trillion debt hanging over our heads. USDebtClock.org. But see, there's more than that. Okay? There's more than that. There's more. There's more. Because in the infinite ignorance of Washington, D.C., someone up there decided, hey, I don't know what they did. They were probably sitting around the Oval Office playing the game of Monopoly by Parker Brothers, right? And they probably looked at the money and went, wow, I wonder what would happen if we just, wow, we need all of this. And then they went, well, we can't just tell the people this is what we're going to have to disguise it somehow. Hey, and a banker went, derivatives. Yeah, there we go. Derivatives are monopoly money pulling out of your ear. Look, $5. I don't see it. It's there. Trust me. No, it's not. I can't pay you with monopoly money, can I? I can't go down to the cable company and pay my cable with monopoly money, can I? But obviously, Congress thinks that printing money is just going to, solve all the issues. And then add on that derivatives, monopoly money, fake money, doesn't mean a thing, dust in the wind, poof. It's somebody somewhere says we owe the federal government $2 quadrillion in derivatives. I can't even count $2 quadrillion, whatever it is. Okay? Now, the thing about the debate last night, and I saw the video some last night and some today, I agree with Governor Romney. We cannot keep borrowing from China to pay for what we want. Period. End of sentence. I would tell Congress, if I were president, I've had enough of you people. We're not going to borrow money from a communist country. I think people forgot about that. China is communist, by the way. We're not going to borrow money from a communist country and pay for whatever we want. No. Here's what we're going to do. Yeah, for anybody, even current small businesses with less than 200 people, right now, immediately, you no longer, for the next 3 years, you no longer have to pay corporate taxes. Because what you do is you take your money that you make in profit and you reinvest it into your company. If you need help, we have experts that can help you do that. Not a big deal. But you don't have to pay corporate taxes. Oh, here's another little fun thing that I would do as president. Personal income tax. What, you're a couple with 2 kids and you make $35,000 a year? You're a corporation that made $2.5 billion this year? Flat tax across the board. Period. End of sentence. Done. There you go. And I would also tell Congress, you spend any money without giving me a receipt, you ain't getting that money. So don't ever say, well, in the future, we would like to do this, so we need money for the roads to do that. We're going to build a baseball arena park, and stuff. We're going to have shops. And great. How are you going to get the money? Because I sure as hell ain't going to give it to you. How about holding a bake sale in the empty lot you want to build this thing at? How about that? Okay? And then I would tell the Pentagon, okay, I would definitely support the military, but I would tell the Pentagon, look, first of all, we're not spending $5 billion on a jet. Okay, that's just ridiculous. How can these scientists, I would tell the Pentagon, how can these scientists who are not even part of the government go to off-the-shelf products, build something a hell of a lot better than what we got, and do the same thing? Duh. Hello? Let's save some money here, folks. Okay? So, yeah. Enough of that. I'm ranting, aren't I? But that's good, though. It's good. It's good. It's good. Hey, if you have a show on Spreaker.com, go ahead and email that to me, and I'll promote the crap out of you. I have ad space, available. So if you want to know how much I charge for ad space, you can send both those things, your promos and questions about ads, to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. That's Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Mostly, the show is listener-supported. Go to the website associated with the show. You'll see a button on the left-hand side that says Donate. Please do. I got a store there as well. Go check that out. I got a book, Many Directions a Man. Check that one out too. All that does there is keep the webpage up and the show going. So if you like what you hear, please help keep the show on the air. Thank you. You are so wonderful. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate your support. And this is the views expressed for the 4th of October 2012 on the Liberty and Freedom Network, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. It's New York, February 6th, 1964. The Beatles are making their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show in one more day. The Plaza Hotel is crazy with the preparations. Alex Frazier, a desk clerk, has secretly let his brother Freddie use the penthouse suite for the evening so he can wine and dine the girl of his dreams. What Alex and Freddie don't know is the Secret Service are using the same room to hide spy novelist Henry Lade. His most recent novel has attracted the attention of the Soviets and East Germans. The communist countries believe Lade may have secretly discovered their plot to bomb Fresno. Assassins are dispatched to kidnap or kill Lade, whichever is easiest. What Agent John Parker and Henry Lade don't know is the Beatles are staying in the same room for their first appearance on American television. Let's Get Laid by Thomas Amo, available on the Kindle at Amazon.com. From family to friends in everyday life, he sees it for what it is. He'll tell you his views on family, politics, and what's in the news. From the world around him, he discusses many issues. Come listen to The Brian Keller Show right here on Spreaker.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Whatever the subject you can think of, we talk about it. Come join Diana and Wayne as we discuss whatever it is that is happening in our lives.
Come and listen to Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show. Check it out on Spreaker.com.
This is the views expressed right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network for the 4th of October 2012. You're listening to this on Spreaker.com. We're broadcasting live from FEMA Region 9, the biggest little city in the world, Reno, Nevada. We're an open carry state, and I am. Just to let you know. Hey, you got anything interesting that you want to show me? Send me an article that you find interesting as well. Send that to Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Liberty and Freedom Network at USA.com. Yes, we are back. We are back. We've got not that long to go. Just to let Paranormal Phil know that I've gotten more information concerning a paranormal investigation we are going on this Friday. We are only allowed so many people, unfortunately, due to insurance and bond and that kind of crap. You know, all that stuff. And we cannot take any more people. We are full at the moment. So, the place we are going has some rules and regulations that they have to follow due to rules and regulations that the county has put on them. So, that kind of sucks, but is good in a way, because as far as paranormal investigations go, I don't like too many people on, on the team. We are going Western Nevada Paranormal. You can email us at paranormalexplorer@usa.com. That's paranormalexplorer@usa.com for any questions you have. We are going to be assisting and being a part of Empathic Paranormal. You can go to their website, empathicparanormal.com. I believe that's still up and running. That's empathicparanormal.com. And we will be going to a location that has been probably, from my point of view, been done several times. And like every location we've gone to, it's like the spirits, the energies, are like sitting on the other side going, hey, look, there's some paranormal investigators. You want to do anything? Nah, we'll just sit here and do nothing. Okay. So sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't, so we're looking for more locations here in the Reno, Carson City area to investigate. So if you're even nearby, even Lake Tahoe would be nice, please email us at paranormalexplorer@usa.com. That's paranormalexplorer@usa.com. And as soon as the investigation is over, I will go through all the evidence that I have and share that, of course, with Empathic Paranormal. And, I will try to get as many EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, as I can. And I will play them for you on one of the shows that I host. It will probably be more like the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri talk show on Friday. It won't be this Friday, probably next Friday. So even then, I can even play some more, if we don't get to all of it, on the Unnamed Show. That's right, the Unnamed Show with my co-host Laura Clemens, and we will play some there as well. So if you're in the Reno, Tahoe, Carson City area, even places like Gardnerville or Minden or Dayton, Nevada, please, and you may have some activity in your house you can't explain, please let us know. Email us at paranormalexplorer@usa.com. Paranormalexplorer@usa.com. Thank you. A little shameless self-promotion there for my paranormal investigation group. So anyway, back to the news. Go to Liberty and Freedom Network on Facebook. And I've clicked on a picture, and it says, Council on Foreign Relations quotes. The Council on Foreign Relations is New World Order, and it plans to end the sovereignty of the United States and bring it under their control. Our politicians answer to them. They have control of the media. 3 judges on the U.S. Supreme Court are members of CFR, and the other ones were all appointed by CFR members. The U.S. has been infiltrated. Our politicians do not serve us. They sold us out to the NWO. Let me interject something here. They also sold us out to the Muslim Brotherhood. That's who takes up certain offices in the White House at this point. Continuing, quote, we are not going to achieve a new world order without paying for it in blood as well as in words and money. Arthur Schlesinger Jr., the CFR Journal Foreign Affairs, August 1975. Quote, we shall have world government whether you like it or not, by conquest or consent. CFR member James Warburg to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Quote, the most powerful clique in these CFR groups have one objective in common. They want to bring about the surrender of the sovereignty and the national independence of the U.S., unquote. Harper's. Quote, a world government can intervene militarily in the internal affairs of any nation when it disapproves of their activities, unquote. Kofi Annan, UN Secretary General. Quote, states must be prepared to cede some sovereignty to world bodies if the international system is to function. This is not to argue that Microsoft, Amnesty International, or Goldman Sachs be given seats in the United Nations General Assembly, but it does mean including representatives of such organizations in regional and global deliberations. Some governments are prepared to give up elements of sovereignty to address the threat of global climate change. All of this suggests that sovereignty must be redefined if states are to cope with globalization. Richard N. Haas, President, Council on Foreign Relations. There is a lot. Let's click on the link next to it, and it goes down and gives you a bunch of what I just read, and it says here, the world's 190 plus states now coexist with a large number of powerful non-sovereign and at least partly and often largely independent actors ranging from corporations to non-governmental non-government organizations or NGOs, from terrorist groups to drug cartels, from regional and global institutions to banks and private equity funds. The sovereign state is influenced by them, for better or for worse, as much as it is able to influence them. The near monopoly of power once enjoyed by sovereign entities is being eroded. As a result, new mechanisms are needed for regional and global governance that include actors other than states. This is not to argue that Microsoft, Amnesty International, or Goldman Sachs be given seats in the United Nations General Assembly, but it does mean including representatives of such organizations in regional and global deliberations when they have the capacity to affect whether or and how regional and global challenges are met. Moreover, states must be prepared to cede some sovereignty to world bodies if the international system is to function. This is already taking place in the trade realm. Governments agree to accept the rulings of the World Trade Organization because, on balance, they benefit from an international trading order, even if a particular decision requires that they alter a practice that is their sovereign right to carry out. Some governments are prepared to give up elements of sovereignty to address the threat of global climate. Under one such agreement, the Kyoto Protocol, which runs through 2012, signatories agree to cap specific emissions. What is needed now is a successor arrangement in which a large number of governments, including the United States, China, and India, accept emission limits or adopt common standards because they recognize that they would be worse off if no country did. All of this suggests that sovereignty must be redefined if states are to cope with globalization. At its core, globalization entails the increasing volume, velocity, and importance of flows within and across borders of people, ideas, greenhouse gases, goods, dollars, drugs, viruses, emails, weapons, and a good deal else, challenging one of sovereignty's fundamental principles, the ability to control what crosses borders in either direction. Sovereign states increasingly measure their vulnerability not to one another, but to forces beyond their control. Globalization thus implies that sovereignty is not only becoming weaker in reality, but that it needs to become weaker. States would be wise to weaken sovereignty in order to protect themselves because they cannot insulate themselves from what goes on elsewhere. Sovereignty is no longer a sanctuary. This was demonstrated by the American and the world reaction to terrorism. Afghanistan's Taliban government, which provided access and support to al-Qaeda, was removed from power. Similarly, America's preventive war against an Iraq that ignored the UN and was thought to possess weapons of mass destruction showed that sovereignty no longer provides absolute protection. Imagine how the world would react if some government were known to be planning to use or transfer a nuclear device or had already done so. Many would argue correctly that sovereignty provides no protection for that state. Necessity may also lead to reducing or even eliminating sovereignty when a government, whether from a lack of capacity or conscious policy, is unable to provide for the basic needs of its citizens. This reflects not simply scruples, but a view that state failure and genocide can lead to destabilizing refugee flows and create openings for terrorists to take root. North Atlantic Treaty Organization's intervention in Kosovo was an example where a number of governments chose to violate the sovereignty of another country, Serbia, to stop ethnic cleansing and genocide. But, contrast, the mass killing in Rwanda a decade ago and now in Darfur, Sudan demonstrate the high price of judging sovereignty to be supreme and thus doing little to prevent the slaughter of innocents. Our notion of sovereignty must therefore be conditional, even contractual, rather than absolute. If a state fails to live up to its side of the bargain by sponsoring terrorism, either transferring or using weapons of mass destruction, or conducting genocide, then it forfeits the normal benefits of sovereignty and opens itself up to attack, removal, or occupation. The diplomatic challenge for this era is to gain widespread support for principles of state conduct and a procedure for determining remedies when these principles are violated. The goal should be to redefine sovereignty for the era of globalization, to find a balance between a world of fully sovereign states and an international system of either world government or anarchy. The basic idea of sovereignty, which still provides a useful constraint on violence between states, needs to be preserved, but the concept needs to be adapted to a world in which the main challenges to order come from what global forces do to states and what governments do to their citizens, rather than from what states do to one another. That is directly from the CFR. There's a link there. You can go to www.cfr.org and check that out. There is a link there on that picture. I read that to you because it's very, 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 very important for everyone to know what is happening. The CFR now, I shouldn't say now, but in the last couple of years, they have been forced to come out in the open and tell the people what they are all about. Why? Because 10 years ago, 12 years ago, people were saying, oh, there's no Council on Foreign Relations. No, there's no Trilateral Commission. Oh, no, there's no Bilderberg Group. No. No, it's all out in the open now. And you people better be aware of the fact that this is not going to be good. You're going to wake up in a society in your area, in a city, a town, a township, a country, and you're going to, think it's like any other day. Hey, I get to go to work today. I'm going to go and do my work and get my pay and go home and love my wife and my kids. And guess what? You're going to wake up and walk out the door and not recognize what's around you. It's going to look completely unfamiliar to you. That is what's happening in the United States of America as we speak. Monitoring everything. That's what the government does. Hey, if you have a car, a GM product, and you got that OnStar thing in your car, yank that puppy out of there. Yank it out. Because they're monitoring you. They know where you're at. Okay? I can tell you right now, when you wake up in the morning, number one, be grateful that you're alive. Number two, be grateful that you're able to do something. But also wake up with this in mind. We no longer live in the United States of America. We no longer live in a free and sovereign society. Now, a lot of people on the other side of the aisle might say, yes, we do, because blah, 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 we've made it better. No, you haven't. The far-left liberal Democrats and the radical Republicans on the far right have destroyed the sovereignty of this country. Hey, you don't believe me? Go to startpage.com, punch in, type in that search engine, President Bush, Vicente Fox, and Paul Martin. And after that, put down 2005 SPP, Security, Prosperity, and Partnership. They signed that at Baylor University, creating the foundation of what we know now as the North American Union. In 2009, Mexican President Felipe Calderón, Prime Minister of Canada Stephen Harper, and President Barack Obama signed a little document creating and expanding upon that foundation from many years ago. They created the infrastructure of the North American Union. Highways in Texas and possibly 80% of the United States have been bought out by companies overseas, specifically in Spain and other places. So our roads are not being made and built by... Oh, well, let me retract that. They're being built by our people, but they're not being operated by our people. Toll roads are coming up and being seen around the country in places that there should not ever be a toll road. Okay? There's highways in Austin, Texas, and around that area that are going to be, if not already are, toll roads, which of course should never be toll roads. Do you understand now why I'm so passionate about freedom and about liberty? Because you matter. You may disagree with me up one side and down the other and say all kinds and call me every name in the book and make up a few. I really don't care. But I still will stand next to you and defend your freedom to say that. I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat. I'm nonpartisan. I don't care about the parties. There shouldn't be parties. You know why? Because we are Americans. We have red blood running through us. Well, it's red when it hits the oxygen outside of the body. We are together as one in a country that stands for liberty and freedom and is the light, the beacon of hope for people around the country who want liberty and freedom. When that shot was fired at Fort Sumter, can you understand the magnitude of what went on that day? When the troops and our relatives, I'm sure, were out at Gettysburg fighting for the liberty and freedom of this nation, what went through their mind? When your grandfather or great-grandfather was in World War I, what went through his mind as a young man fighting in another country? When your father or grandfather came back from Vietnam, came back from Korea or Vietnam, what went through their minds? Did they say, oh, we need to go to another country to protect our freedoms in the United States of America? No. I'm sure that when they came back, they said, why the hell are we over there fighting their wars for them? We need to be in our country, defending the Constitution and the Bill of Rights against enemies, foreign and domestic, on our own shores. What do you think goes through the mind of a 22-year-old out in the fields of Afghanistan shooting at people because he thinks that they're going to come to his country, America, and destroy something? By the way, I do believe that 9/11 was an inside job. Period. You want backing on that? 1,500 architects and engineers are not wrong. Now, we are in an election year, and we have two puppets, and we have to figure out which one is going to get us out of all this. Which one is more qualified? Well, wait a minute, hold on. There's two puppets, but there's only one puppet master. It doesn't matter, folks. Oh, what are we supposed to do? Not vote? Well, that might be a good start right there. I agree with Jesse Ventura. former governor of Minnesota. I agree with him. There should not be any parties. Do not vote for Democrat or Republican. If you can write in, Ron Paul. But the closest person we have is Gary Johnson. I said earlier that if I was president, I told you what I would do. If I was president, there's two things I would do. I would call in the person heading up the Federal Reserve, and I would call in the person heading up the IRS. I would have them in the Oval Office sitting in chairs right in front of my desk. And I would say this. I got 2 words for you. I got 3 words for you. How's that? You are fired. I'd abolish those 2 things right off the get-go. Why? We don't need it. President Woodrow Wilson signed the IRS Act and the Federal Reserve Act in 1913, and we've been under the thumb of the globalist bankers ever since. He sold us down the river. And how in the hell did a country as strong as the United States get in such debt? And the other question is why in the hell are we borrowing money from a communist country like China? Get your head out of your derriere. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. You have been listening to me ranting. You've been listening to the views expressed for the 4th of October 2012. Please come back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Liberty and Freedom Network. Broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. I want y'all to have a great Thursday, and remember this. We the people have the power, for we are America.